What's up, everybody? My name's Security Denied, and we've got another blog post to go over about Destiny 2 titled Exclusive Destiny 2's Considering Adding Sparrow Racing League, Unvaulted Campaigns, NPC Sidekicks, New Subclass Abilities, New Gambit Mode, and more new survey reveals. Now, in the most recent TWID, they said this about what's next for Vanguard alerts. We are working on further improvements for Vanguard alerts that we will share as soon as possible. In the meantime, we can share that we are looking into adding legacy content, including raids and dungeons, to the weekly rotation, finding a permanent location for Vanguard alerts in the portal, as well as expanding the activity and reward offerings in a future update. The version launching in the next few weeks is a foundation, and we want your help to determine what to build up next. Use hashtag Vanguard Alerts on Twitter/X and Blue Sky to share your thoughts on the following. Number 1, what legacy activities would you like to see included in Vanguard Alerts? What activities do you miss, and would you like to run again with your fire teams? We look forward to hearing from you about Vanguard Alerts, and we hope you find them a valuable way to start your week playing Destiny 2. And I wanted to emphasize the first bullet point with what legacy activities Bungie wants to see added to Vanguard Alerts, basically also adding it to the portal. And I think a lot of people used this opportunity to basically give their thoughts and opinions of what they wanted added to the game. Hence why we have this. I'm not sure if it's from the same survey or if they were taking polls from people on the social media accounts or whatnot, but I'm going to go through this article and we're going to figure it out. But I'm excited to see what they've got. A new survey shows Destiny 2 is considering adding Sparrow Racing League, Unvaulted Campaigns, NPC Sidekicks, a new PvP and Gambit modes, and much more. Destiny 2 is in a weird spot right now. The Edge of Fate expansion kicked off the new Fate saga with huge system changes. The portal became the main activity hub, Armor 3.0 rebuilt stats and set bonuses, and everyone's power was reset to 10 with a new cap of 200 plus seasonal bonus power on top. In practice, a lot of that landed badly. The Edge of Fate struggled to hit 100,000 concurrent players on Steam at launch, far below the 300,000 plus peaks of past expansions like Lightfall and The Final Shape. Since the player numbers have kept falling, Destiny 2's average Steam player count over the last 30 days dropped to just over 13,000, the lowest since the game arrived on the platform in 2019. Bungie has already walked back some of its biggest decisions made in the Edge of Fate, including a plan to reset seasonal bonus power with Renegades after feedback from the community. Now it looks like Bungie is asking players what kinds of features might actually get them excited to log in again. Destiny 2 survey asks about Sparrow Racing League, Unvaulted Campaigns, and NPC Sidekicks. The game post has obtained a closed invite-only survey Bungie sent to select Destiny 2 players earlier this week. Email says it is a one-time survey per account and offers 500 silver in-game reward within 4 weeks of completion as a thank you. Inside that survey, Bungie asks a long list of potential features to be added to Destiny 2 and asks players to rank them. Some of the options are small quality of life ideas, others would fundamentally change how Destiny 2 works. Let's break down what Bungie is asking about. Okay, so they send out a survey to everyone, which is great. I think they need to do more surveys. Honestly, I think once a week, probably on Tuesdays, they should have a survey pop up in the game. Be like, hey, go to this website, fill out the survey, and we want your feedback and whatnot within the game. That would allow it to be every player who's playing the game to give their thoughts and feedbacks, to have a little bit of a wider range on what the player base is looking for. And this is what they did in their most recent survey. New abilities, power, prestiging, and portal changes. Question: please rank the following potential features to be added to Destiny 2 in terms of their potential to improve your enjoyment of the game. Players are given the 5 options to sort. New stasis and strand abilities. Gear tier enhancement, i.e. the ability to upgrade the tier of a weapon. New simplified portal scoring system. New void melee abilities. Power prestiging ability to reset power to 10. Okay, this is how I would rank them. Currently, In literally my most recent video that I just uploaded about the Dev Insight blog post, we talked about Void melee abilities and how it has been so long that they have only had one melee ability. So right now, that's going to be my number one, especially since we are now dipping into a more Void heavy meta with Renegades, as hinted in the most recent dev article with the artifact. It's been a lot of Void and Arc exotics that were tuned. So I would love to see a new Void melee ability. Next would be the new Stasis and Strand abilities. I love being able to use different magic and evolve the space abilities that we've been given and that we found. I think that's the coolest part of the game. I really like the weapons, but there's only so much you can do with weapons, and especially when there are so many in the game, that I think the abilities are what make the game special. And so I'd love to see new Stasis and Strand abilities next. The third would probably be a new simplified portal scoring system, because I know that's how we get our rewards. I think it would be a lot simpler on, especially with not choosing the modifiers that we're going into an activity with. They need to simplify that and be like, here, everything's going to be on a weekly rotator. They're each going to have their own set modifiers that rotate weekly, and that's what it's going to be set at. And you can choose the difficulty, what power you're going to be set at, but the modifiers are going to stick. And I think that's going to simplify the scoring a lot, but I think that would be my number 3, is to simplify all that. Power prestiging or gear tier enhancement. I think I'm going to put power prestiging ability to reset power to 10 above gear tier enhancement, because once you reach a certain threshold, you can just get tier 5s out the wazoo, right? You can get them from every single activity. And you don't really need to worry about it, knowing that you're going to be getting a surplus amount of tier 5s. You don't really need to worry about that. Like, and I'm just an average gamer. Like, with how they have changed the power progression, it is so easy to get to that power level to where you're just getting tier 5s nonstop. So I don't think enhancing your gear tier is really necessary when it's pretty guaranteed. And the ability to reset your power, I think, is a better option, because it gives the people to re-experience the power grind and to get that leveling dopamine rush from seeing that number go up instead of being static. I'm interested to see how it works, because we'll probably still have all of our tier 5 stuff. Maybe. I don't really know how they would make it work, but I would still take it over just enhancing gears with how easily accessible tier 5s are. And this is what the fans said in the results, I guess, for that survey. Fans have been asking for new Strand and Stasis abilities for years, so it's clear why Bungie wants to know if players still want new subclass options. The power prestiging option is especially interesting. After players already had their powers reset to 10 with the Edge of Fate, and after months of complaints about how seasonal power and portal grinds feel, Bungie is still at least considering an opt-in reset that could come with extra rewards or prestige visuals. And I think that would be the huge benefit for reset, is to basically show off that, yeah, I reached max power and I did a reset several times, and now I have all this cool stuff that you don't have. And I think that's what the game needs. Alright, Sparrow Racing League and new PvP and Gambit modes, and raid nights. Another question focuses on raids, dungeons, events, and core playlists. The exact wording is similar to the first ranking question, asking players to order a list of potential features. The options are a Sparrow Racing League event or playlist, raid night, a day of the week where players can play the featured raid for extra rewards, a new Gambit mode or Gambit event, new difficulty tiers to legacy raids and dungeons, raid rotator legacy raids that are included in the weekly raid rotation that offers special rewards and unique challenges, added old campaigns and other activities to the portal, rotating portal activities each week, daily/weekly competitive PvE events, new PvP modes, example, combined arms. Okay, there's a lot here. I think the one that jumps out to me the most is obviously added old campaigns and other activities to the portal. I would love to be able to go back and play the older campaigns and to re-experience the story because it was so good, so good. Even if they had it to where in the tower there's this like special node that when you open it up, it's kind of like a memory thing because the darkness is all about accessing memories, right? So what if there's like this little darkness pyramid thing that we touch it and it not like unlocks, but like unlocks our memories from previous campaigns and things like that. So it not only have like a story reason of why it's in there, but we get to go back and re-experience those memories of previous campaigns and older activities. The next one that jumps out to me for number 2 would probably be probably the raid rotator, legacy raids that are included in the weekly raid rotation that offer special awards and unique challenges. I think the first raid that I ever completed was what was it? It was the one that what was it? Scourge of it was Scourge. I forgot what the full name of it was. I want to say Scourge of the Machine, but that's not it. That's a mix of Wrath of the Machine. But that was my first ever raid, so I missed out on a lot of different raids, and I know they were bringing back some legacy ones like King's Fall, Crota's End, and things like that. But I would love to see the Leviathan back because I wanted to do that raid so bad. My friends and I spent like 8 hours on the dog encounter and then gave up. It was so difficult for us. But that was back when we were just starting Destiny 2. I didn't really know all the strats and things like that. But I would love to go back and do all those older raids again and have them included. The third one would be a new Gambit mode / Gambit event. I know they said that they were taking a step back from Gambit and kind of revamping it a little bit. And I want to see what they're cooking up because I love Gambit. I love the option to have a mixed PvE / PvP. And I know they're going to be tapping a little bit into that with a new Renegades activity, but the new Gambit mode, if it's revamped and done well, they need to take a lot of thoughts from players, especially if they're going to want to do it right and make sure it sticks. I think they should reach out to the community and be like, all right, what would you want to see in a Gambit mode? Actually, no, let me pull up my script that I had. Okay, here is my Gambit rework. I'm not sure if they've announced what the rework is going to be, or if Invasions is going to be that rework, or a separate activity. If it's a separate activity, then it sounds like a missed opportunity to make it a permanent part of the game like Gambit. Invasion is their next PvE, PvP-ish game mode. It is one Guardian versus a squad of defending Guardians, doing who knows what. All I know is that it's a 1v3 basically. I don't remember seeing anything else in the dev livestream or the Vidoc about it, but if you guys do, let me know down in the comments down below. It's a work in progress script, okay? I haven't gotten around to finishing it. Alright, and then here is how I think the activity should go. In my personal opinion, I think it should be very much like Helldivers if they're going to lean in heavily into that game style. I think it should be a 3v3 game mode. It will feel very similar to how Guardian Games works, with only matchmaking with your class, except in this one, you can only be on a team that is aligned itself with the same syndicate as you, referring to renegade syndicates and things like that as a permanent activity. Let's say you choose the Fallen Syndicate and you load in with others who do the same. Once you load in, you are given a time limit to set up your defenses, similar to how Onslaught is. except you have an army of your own. You start with a good amount of dregs, a chunk of vandals, and then a few captains. We can classify these troops as small, medium, and large, similar to blockers from Gambit. Once the time runs out, the attacking squad from a different crime syndicate, who is waiting in a waiting room with fun little minigames, now loads into their section of the map with their army respectively. It now becomes a turf war between the two armies. As each player gets kills, they can collect motes, like in Gambit. They then have to run back to their command post to dunk these motes and spawn more troops for their army. But when doing so, it leaves your front line exposed for a time, allowing the opposing side to take some ground. The goal is to reach the opposing command post and capture it before the time runs out. If your team is losing ground and not seeming to gain any back, then your team will be granted small buffs to increase your effectiveness so that you don't get absolutely rolled. If the time runs out before either team captures a command post, then the game ends in a tie. The loot rewards for ties isn't the best loot, but it's not the worst. I'd say it would be a tier 3 to tier 4, but it will give you positive power. You can only get tier 5 gear only from victories. Losses will grant the same loot as a tie. This game mode will force you to have great PvE loadouts while also consistently battling the other Guardians in PvP fights. Just as a thought I had while writing notes for this video. Basically, it's going to be a turf war. Well, it's not going to be. In my own brain, with how I want the activity to be, I would love to be fighting in massive armies, like PvE armies, against opposing Guardians' PvE army as well. I think that would be super fun to spawn in troops, to have that turf war. I know a lot of people love it, especially in Minecraft. Every time I load into a Minecraft server, everyone is lined up to go into turf wars, and I don't know what it's about, right? But I think that would be a super good idea. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Anyways, enough with the rant. The next one that I think should be added is Sparrow Racing League event or playlist. I know a lot of people have been wanting this. I unfortunately did not have the opportunity to participate in Sparrow Racing when it was in D1. I started to play around the Taken King, but I didn't have any friends really, so I didn't really do a lot of the multiplayer aspects of Destiny at the time. I mostly just stuck with doing the campaign over and over again because it was friggin' good. But that was kind of the extent, and I would love to be able to participate in Sparrow Racing. Because from what I've seen, it looks like a ton of fun to be able to participate in that. So I definitely want that back. The next one that I would put is probably rotating portal activities each week. I would love to see different activities that we can do. Even if it is like legacy content adding to the portal, I'd love to see it rotated so we get a good variety of things. And if people end up playing more activities than the other, then keep it as a permanent, give it a permanent place in the portal. Same thing with how Taco Bell works, right? Or any fast food place. They try limited time only food items, and if it's really popular, they might take it off for a bit and then bring it back as a permanent item later on, once they get like the infrastructure or whatever for it. But they make it a permanent fix. And I think that would be really cool to have that kind of like reactiveness to community support in the game. And then the next one would probably be new PvP modes. We've had the same PvP modes forever. Whenever I go back to Destiny 1 and pull up the PvP screen, there's like a friggin' list of different PvP activities that you can hop in and just play. Right now we've got like four activities in the portal, or at least different PvP modes, which is fun. But I would also like to see new PvP maps, and I know that we got a couple more recently, but we need more. Even if it's legacy maps, I would love to go back and do some of the older maps from OG Destiny 2. Those are just my thoughts. Then daily, weekly competitive PvE events. I think that would be fun to bring everything, or at least everyone, back into PvE for the week, like Grandmaster Nightfalls and things like that. I've only done one Grandmaster Nightfall, but that was before I actually started getting into build crafting, so it's probably why I didn't get into it as much. Then probably Raid Night. My friends love Raid Night. We try to get together for Raid Night every once in a while, but we haven't in a long time because everyone stopped playing Destiny, so that would be fun just to have a thing in the game, you know? Then new difficulty tiers for legacy raids and dungeons. I don't really care about changing the difficulty, I just like doing it. Now let's read what everyone else thought. This is basically a wish list for long-term endgame and ritual content. A legacy raid rotator with unique rewards, featured raids for raid nights with extra rewards. Adding old campaigns and activities into the portal would help fill the current gap in replayable story content. Then you get to the real nostalgia bait. A Sparrow Racing League event or playlist is explicitly mentioned alongside completely new PvP modes and updates to Gambit either as a full mode or a time-limited event. Bungie is clearly trying to measure how much appetite there is for a proper playlist return of Sparrow Racing League and for finally doing something meaningful with Gambit after years of neglect. Yeah, it definitely needs some love, that's for sure. See, this would be so sick. This looks fun. Alright, one of the biggest blocks in the survey is another ranking list for potential features to be added to Destiny 2. The options are, here we go, once again. Unvaulted expansion campaigns such as Red War and Forsaken. That would be so good. So good. New clan upgrade and progression system. An in-game trophy room. NPC sidekicks to equip and fight alongside your guardian. More replayable story-rich side quests for NPCs, more random encounters with other players while adventuring, new vault with increased space, new onboarding experience for new and returning players, an in-game Destiny 2 information glossary, an in-game Destiny 2 tutorial library. Honestly, I think this last one and the onboarding experience could be kind of tied into one. But obviously, the first one's got to be unvaulted expansion campaigns, such as Red War and Forsaken, like, just to go back and re-experience them. Chef's kiss. Then, new clan upgrade and progression system. Clans have not gotten any love since they were introduced at the start of the game, and they need something bad, because everyone wants to be a part of a clan and a part of a team, but there's nothing to do. Right? As a clan, there's nothing. You're just playing by yourself or in small fire teams. But there's nothing to do as a clan, you know? You don't really get that togetherness, which is unfortunate. The next one I would probably do, honestly, yeah, probably an in-game trophy room. I'd love to go and see all the trophies we have, all the things that we've collected from story moments like the Crown of Sorrow, the what's it called, the Tablets of Ruin that we have that we're studying. Honestly, pretty much everything that we have from raid bosses I'd love to see in there, even if it's like a big room in the tower where the whatever that warlock group is, the bookworms, you know, the hidden, I think is what they're called. Are they like studying a bunch of artifacts that we've collected? I'd love to go and see those. That'd be cool. New NPC sidekicks. I mean, yeah, we could have NPC sidekicks or whatnot. It's not one of my top picks. That's probably going to be lower on the list. Same thing with this one. Just both of these NPC mode. I don't really care about playing with the NPCs, really. I will say more random encounters with players while venturing is going to be up there. So I'd probably just swap this one up to here. New vault with increased space. I don't really use my vault that much. I just get in the habit of deleting things I know I'm not going to use. And then probably next would be the new onboarding experience / in-game Destiny 2 tutorial library. Because the onboarding and new player experience, dog water. Definitely needs a refresh bad. So, yeah, definitely needs some refreshing. And then it would be the in-game Destiny 2 information glossary. Taken together, this reads like Bungie stress testing a much more social and approachable version of Destiny 2. The clan upgrade and progression system would finally give clans something real to work toward. An in-game trophy room could let players show off seals, maybe an exotic weapon collection, and more. Man, my best friend Turble, this exotic weapon collection, in fact, just an exotic collection in general, would be completely full because he has almost everything. But since Destiny 2's fallen off a little bit, meh. Anyways, there are also clear quality of life pitches. A new vault with more space is on the list, even though Bungie has already confirmed more vault space in Renegades. Then there is a nuclear option, unvaulting entire expansion campaigns with Red War and Forsaken mentioned by name, plus NPC sidekicks you can equip and bring into fights. The last idea would be a huge shift in terms of how the game plays right now. Alright, next one. Bungie directly compares Destiny 2 and Destiny Rising. 2 questions in the survey pull Destiny Rising into the picture, the mobile game developed by NetEase Games. One open-ended question asks, what does Destiny Rising do better than Destiny 2 in your opinion? If you don't know enough to answer, please enter an A. So, Destiny Rising, it definitely has a lot more MMO aspects to it, especially with like the clan housing that you can build. Pretty much every single activity you can do is match made you do with other people. There's hardly any solo content in the game, if any. I don't know if there is. I haven't played a ton of it, but from what I've played, everything you can do together, which is way more than Destiny has to offer. Another question, what features from Destiny Rising, if any, would you be interested in seeing added to Destiny 2? If you don't know enough, please answer an A. What features? Probably the MMO features. I'd love to have more of a togetherness with the community. Hence why I'm doing a little bit more Destiny content on my channel. I'd love to be at least a little bit more integrated with the community. And to maybe make some friends to play with or something. I don't know. Please don't pity me. But I would love to be a little bit more integrated with the community, and I think Destiny Rising has much better tools for allowing that to happen. So I would love to see that more in Destiny 2. So Bungie is not only checking how players feel about Destiny 2 in isolation, the studio's openly asking which parts of Destiny Rising feel stronger and what systems should be imported into the main game. Speaking of content vaulting, just days ago, Bungie finally settled a year-long copyright lawsuit with writer Matthew Kelsey Martineau, who claimed that the Red War and Curse of Osiris stories and related materials copied his 2013 and 2014 work. Because Red War has been vaulted for years, Bungie had to rely on fan videos and wiki pages instead of pulling its own campaign data to make its case, which did not exactly help in court. Bungie is also expected to release a full multi-year roadmap for Destiny 2 next year, so these surveys' responses may be early indicators of what we'll see in the coming seasons. What do you think about all this? Would Sparrow Racing League, a new Gambit game mode, or a proper raid rotator get you to log back in? I definitely think there's a lot of changes here that would bring me back. Definitely the unvaulted expansions would bring me back just to re-experience that. Definitely a clan upgrade progression system. Something to do with my friends would be great. And pretty much all of this activity stuff would bring me back. A new Gambit game mode would be fun to play. I want to get back into raids and dungeons with my friends. Just anything that has to do with multiplayer and making the game more fun is what I'd love. Especially the Void Melee ability and Strand abilities. But there's a lot that I would bring back into the game and to make it feel better. But let me go. Let me go. Yeah, let me go. Let me know what you guys think about this and what changes you would make to Destiny that would bring you and your friends back in. I'm always interested to hear what you guys are thinking, so let me know. Thank you all for coming and watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye!